A marketing firm uses multiple AWS accounts across different internal teams. The creative team stores media in an S3 bucket in their own account. They need to share read-only access to this bucket with the strategy team. An IAM role named Strategy Reviewer has been created in the strategy account. The creative team's S3 bucket is secured using a customer-managed AWS KMS key. Currently, strategy team members receive access denied errors when attempting to view the bucket contents. What three actions must a solutions architect perform?
Option A. Implement an S3 bucket policy allowing read access to the strategy account ID. Option B. Configure the strategy reviewer IAM role with full administrative access to the S3 bucket and decryption rights for the KMS key. Option C. Modify the custom KMS key policy in the creative account to authorize the strategy reviewer role to perform the KMS.decrypt action. Option D. Apply a bucket policy granting read-only access to any anonymous user. Option E. Modify the custom KMS key policy to authorize the strategy reviewer role to perform the KMS.encrypt action. Option F. Modify the strategy reviewer IAM role to include permissions for reading S3 bucket objects and decrypting the custom KMS key.
To understand this scenario, consider the layers of security involved when sharing encrypted data across AWS accounts. You're interacting with resource-based policies, which control access to the storage bucket itself, and identity-based policies, which define what a specific role can do. Furthermore, when using customer-managed encryption keys, there is a third separate layer of security. The encryption key itself has its own policy, distinct from the storage bucket policy, which strictly dictates who has the permission to perform cryptographic operations like decryption. In my view, the correct answers are A, C, and F. To enable cross-account access to an encrypted S3 bucket, three specific conditions must be met. First, a bucket policy in the creative account must grant the strategy account, or the role, access to the S3 bucket objects, which is covered by option A. Second, the strategy reviewer role in the strategy account needs explicit permissions in its own identity policy, including the ability to list and read objects, as well as decrypt the data, matching option F. Third, because the bucket is encrypted with a custom KMS key, you must modify the key policy in the creative account to explicitly permit the strategy reviewer role to perform the KMS decrypt action, as described in option C. Options B and E are incorrect because they provide unnecessary administrative access or the wrong encryption permissions. Finally, option D is insecure because it grants access to any anonymous user, which violates the principle of least privilege. Always ensure that encryption permissions are tightly scoped to the minimum required access. Always ensure that encryption permissions are tightly scoped to the minimum required access.